Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a review video on the new Tarte Shape Tape Foundation. They have two different versions of the foundation. They have a matte and then they have a more hydrating foundation. Since I can be more on the normal to dry side, I chose the hydrating foundation to test out for you today. I really haven't watched any review videos on this foundation yet because I wanted to have like my own opinion. So this foundation, actually they have, you know, of course, everyone knows the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, which is very, very high coverage. It's very hydrating under the eyes. It sets down nicely, doesn't crease under your eyes, brightens up the under eyes, and it makes your under eyes look flawless. So I want to tell you guys what exactly this product is supposed to do. I'm on the Ulta website right now. It hasn't launched yet when I'm filming this video. It may have when the video goes live, and I'll post the details down below if that's the case. But it's not quite available yet on Ulta. I did get mine from the Tarte website. It has hyaluronic acid in it, also collagen, barley extract that's supposed to help smooth over fine lines and wrinkles, a dermal filler to help restore skin's volume and smoothness, vitamin C, and it does have that Amazonian clay in it. It's hypoallergenic. It says it's 12-hour power, which we are going to test out today to see if that is the case. This product retails for $39. They only have 15 colors available. A really nice glass frosted bottle. I think that's very fancy. And it does have the matching lid to the concealer. It has this blue rim for the hydrating, so it's nice if you do have both that you can kind of easily see which one is which. Yep, it does have that same applicator, the doe foot applicator as the concealer. I'll open the concealer up and show you guys the difference. It's slightly bigger, but not by much. Let's just go ahead and put this on. I'm gonna put my hair back. I've already obviously done my eyes and my brows. I did prime my skin with the Ultra Repair Cream from First Aid Beauty. You guys know this is like my thing. I always prime with that. I did get the shade Porcelain, which I think is gonna be pretty light on me. But you know, I never know because sometimes I get the lightest shade and I don't know, it's either too light or too dark. I just chose Porcelain. We'll see how that works for me. But I'm gonna go ahead and start applying it. The thing about this is that you're gonna have to keep dipping in, and it's a little aggravating to have to continuously dip this in and then apply it and then dip it in and apply it. It's just kind of a little tedious. It's very strange. It feels like I'm applying the concealer all over my face because this doe foot is exactly the same. This may be too much, I don't know. We'll just have to see. It looks like it's very sheer, so I'm hoping that it has good coverage. It doesn't say that it's a full coverage foundation. Because of the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, you kind of expect full coverage because that's the concealer that goes with this foundation. I'm gonna blend this in one side with a brush and one side with a sponge, see if there's a difference. So I am gonna use my Real Techniques foundation brush. This is the Blend and Blur brush. Right now, just initial thoughts as I'm blending this in with the brush. I mean, I can still see everything on my face. The redness, the freckles, like it's not covering up anything. This brush I don't think is doing it justice. I don't know, it's not spreading it around very nice, and it's just, I'm not sure if the foundation brush is a good way to go for this product. It's just kind of shearing everything out. Now, I don't know if the sponge is going to do any better, but right now, like, I can literally see everything still. Freckles, redness. It's not covering up really anything at all. It's a little tiny bit too light, but that's okay because I'll just bronze my face up and make everything nice and even. So as of right now, I really do not like the coverage of this, but it may just be the brush. I'm going to put a little bit more, dip in for like, what, the 6th or 7th time. Pouncing the sponge in to see how this blends into the skin. And again, I'm seeing still the redness and the freckles peeking through. This is a very, very light coverage foundation. Right off the bat, I don't feel like it's covering anything. I don't know, if you're gonna have a full coverage concealer, you want to have somewhere in between like a medium and full coverage foundation. Otherwise it's just gonna look odd if your under eyes are perfectly hidden but then you still have redness and stuff all over your face. So far I think I'm kind of disappointed in this product. There's a very minimal coverage. I won't say it's covering nothing, it's not covering everything I want it to cover. I'm gonna go in with a second layer. Unfortunately, I think it's a must. Now, something I will say too is when you take the doe foot out, it really does not have a lot of product on it. That's why I keep having to dip it in, because it's got like this tiny little hole in it, and so when you pull it out, it takes a lot of the product with it, which is why I keep having to dip it in over and over and over again, and it is so annoying. Like, I don't know what the point of that is. I don't understand. I mean, I know they're trying to like take after the concealer that was such a hit, but come on, you don't have to do it exactly the same with the exact same applicator. This product is not sinking into the skin very well. It's just kind of sitting on top of it. Everything that I do is moving the product around in a negative way. It's pulling and it's gathering and it's not sinking into the skin. Ugh, this is so frustrating. What is that? You can literally see it's so sheer. I mean, it's got a nice like somewhat dewiness to it. Like, it definitely looks fresh and dewy as far as the finish of it. And actually it's oxidizing pretty bad. I had put some on my neck when I first was applying that first layer, and I haven't blended it in yet. That's very strange. I'm trying to show y'all everything that I do, it's pulling product. Like, there's just like splotch mark. It's just not sinking into the skin at all. And I just keep applying more and more and more in hopes that it will do something. Let's apply some concealer, and I use the shade Fair. This is how it's supposed to apply. The foundation, again, I know it doesn't say it's full coverage, but if you're trying to act like the concealer, then we are expecting you to be similar to the concealer, being a medium to full coverage foundation to go with the full coverage concealer you're selling. I don't see any sheerness peeking through. This is like full coverage on the get-go, just the first application of it. It's doing exactly what I thought it would do, and it's moving the product around every little pounce of my sponge, which is supposed to be sinking it into the skin. It's moving the under layer of the foundation around, so that I'm constantly having to try and put things back in place. So usually I don't have any problems with the concealer not setting in place or moving my foundation underneath, but right now that's what's occurring. I'm leaving that side as is, and I'm gonna apply some powder real quick. I am using the loose finishing powder from Maybelline, the Fit Me. I am in a hurry in the morning, and I just want to apply my foundation, apply my concealer, have it looking how I want it to look without having to spend an hour blending everything in. It does oxidize, so if you are gonna get a shade, you definitely need to choose a shade that's just automatically like lighter. All right, I'm gonna set my entire face with the Maybelline Fit Me Matte Poreless Translucent Powder. I'm not gonna like be swirling this around because, again, I'm very worried that things are gonna start moving on me. I'm just gonna kind of stamp it in and hope for the best. If you don't normally set your foundation, you need to set it with this foundation. This product, by the end of the day, if you don't set it, I mean, you're pretty much not gonna have any foundation left. It moves and picks up so easily. So I've got that on. I'm gonna quickly do the rest of my face. Alrighty, everything is on and good to go. When I applied products on top of it, when I did my, you know, contour, my bronzer, my blush, all that stuff, especially with the bronzer, I could tell it was kind of leaving like patches. Like, even though I set, obviously, like, it's powdery, I set the foundation before I went in and did all that, it still was a little hard to blend on top of everything, the whole situation that's going on with my base. Overall, didn't turn out too badly. I'm not really mad at it right now after everything is said and done. It just took a lot longer to make my base as flawless as I like. That's just my initial impression, but I am gonna do a wear test on this. So let me check back at the time right now. It is 3:37 right now. So I'm gonna come back. Actually, I'm on my way to Ulta with a friend, probably get dinner, and then I will come back here late at night before I go to bed, let you know the final result of how this wears, how this holds up through the day. Hey everyone, so I'm back to just finish up talking about how this foundation wore throughout the day. It is 11:45, which it's been about 8 hours or so since I filmed the initial part of the video, the application and first impression part. So now I just wanted to come on here with my purple ass teeth from sipping wine, just to give you guys like my final thoughts on how I thought this foundation wore. I am actually very impressed with this foundation, and my initial application of it, I was a little underwhelmed, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of the application of it. The doe foot applicator for foundation is a very strange application as opposed to something like a pump or even like a tube of something that you squeeze. Just having the doe foot, like it's very strange. I had to dip it in like 5 or 6 times to get just like the coverage. You know, it took 3 or 4 layers of it to build up to the, you know, medium coverage that I was wanting. I was really wanting something like the Shape Tape concealer, something like more of a medium to full coverage. And it's definitely a very like light sheer foundation on your first application, and if you do want to build it up to a medium, you do have to layer it up, which I'm not a big fan of. I feel like it's very time consuming to have to constantly layer foundation on, and I'd rather honestly go for a foundation that I can just do one layer and it's flawless and done. I really wish that they would have really tried to mimic more so the concealer being that full coverage. It's very strange to me having a light to medium foundation, but then having it, you know, supposedly going great with a full coverage concealer. It doesn't really make sense to me. I did feel like it was really hard to blend it into the skin because it doesn't really sink into the skin. It more so just sits on top of it, and that's with either a brush or a sponge applicator. You definitely have to set this foundation. If you're that kind of person that just doesn't like setting foundation, I definitely would say stay away from this foundation no matter what, because you will pretty much have no foundation left throughout the day. This foundation, to sum it up, it's work. It takes a long time, a lot of layers, a lot of blending, a lot of just time and effort to get it to this, to get it to how, you know, getting it to look how you want it to look. That being said, I do think it is beautiful. I love the formulation of it. As far as like the overall finish, I think it's beautiful. It's dewy and glowy, but it's not over the top. It's not too much. It's just the right amount. It looks very healthy and fresh. I don't think necessarily for $39 I would go out and say you need this in your life. I don't think I would go around telling people that they should buy this, but now that I have it, I am gonna use it. I do think that it wore really well throughout the day. I'm sorry if I'm looking over here, I'm looking at my mirror. I think, you know, the lighting's kind of washing me out right now, but it held up really nicely. I ate, I laughed, I was watching TV, like my favorite show right now, and it just like made me cry, so I'm like tearing up, and it actually held up through all of that. So again, I think once you get it to where you want it to be, it stays. It's been 8 hours. It stays really nicely. It does oxidize pretty badly. Now it was okay for me because I got a shade. It's like the lightest shade they have, and it was actually a little too light for me. So when it did oxidize, it oxidized more even to my actual skin tone. Overall, I give this foundation 3 stars. I wouldn't necessarily recommend the foundation, like just going out and getting it, unless you like a light coverage foundation, or unless you don't really care and you have the time to devote to making it look good. Those are my only 2 things. If you have those, great. If not, I I would say pass on this foundation. Now that I have it, I do like it. I'm not gonna be wearing it every single day because I don't have time for that. That is it. That is all I have to say about this foundation. I really hope you guys enjoyed this first impression wear test. Definitely let me know what you want me to test down below. Like this video if you like videos like this, and I will see you guys in the next one.